The Valoran High Council sat in their crystal chambers, watching the holographic display with amusement. The tiny blue planet called Earth floated at the edge of their galaxy map, nearly 40,000 light-years away from the Valoran Empire. Admiral Crix leaned back in his chair and laughed. His gray skin wrinkled around his large black eyes as he pointed at the distant dot. "The humans sent us a warning message," he said to the other council members. "They demand we release the prisoners we took from their colony world. They threaten war if we do not comply within 30 standard days." The chamber filled with laughter. Minister Thova covered her mouth with her long fingers. "War? With what ships? Their fastest vessels would take 200 years to reach our borders. Their technology is primitive. They still use chemical fuel rockets for short-range travel. They developed faster than light travel only 50 years ago," General Zoran added. "Their jump drives can barely move them across their own small territory. We are safe here at the heart of our empire." Admiral Crix nodded slowly. The Valoran Empire had ruled this region of space for 10,000 years. They had conquered over 300 species. The humans were just the newest annoyance, a young species that had spread to a dozen colony worlds in a century. The Valorans had raided one of these colonies for slaves. They needed workers for their mining operations. The humans were small and weak compared to Valorans, but they could survive in harsh conditions. They were useful as labor. "Send them no response," Admiral Crix ordered. "Let them scream their threats into the void. Distance keeps us safe from these primitives." The council agreed. They moved on to other business and forgot about the humans entirely. 29 days passed. Deep in human space, Fleet Admiral Helena Cross stood on the bridge of the HSS Vengeance. Her gray hair was tied back tight. Her uniform was black with gold trim. Behind her, through the massive observation window, floated the largest fleet humanity had ever assembled. 200 warships hung in formation around a structure that glowed with blue light. This structure was humanity's greatest secret. They called it the Gate. "Admiral, all ships report ready for jump," Commander Wells said from his station. "The Gate is fully charged." Admiral Cross looked at the holographic display showing Valoran space. The aliens thought they were untouchable. They thought 40,000 light years was too far. They did not know what humans had been building in secret for the past 30 years. "The Valorans took 4,000 of our people," Admiral Cross said quietly. "Men, women, and children. They thought we could not reach them. They thought wrong." She turned to face her bridge crew. Every officer stood at attention. Humanity spent 3 decades building the Gate network. We kept it hidden from the galaxy. We let other species think we were weak and slow. We let them believe we could not travel far. Today, we show them the truth. Admiral Cross pressed the button on her command console. "All ships, engage jump sequence. Target coordinates locked." We jump in 60 seconds. Across the fleet, engines hummed with power. The Gate structure crackled with energy. Blue lightning danced between its massive rings. This was not normal faster than light travel. This was something new. Humanity had discovered a way to fold space itself, to create tunnels through dimensions that no other species had found. The Gate was the key. The countdown reached 0. Space ripped open in front of the fleet. A tunnel of swirling light appeared, stretching impossibly far. The HSS Vengeance led the charge, diving into the tunnel at speeds that broke every known law of physics. Behind it came destroyers, cruisers, battleships, and carriers. 200 vessels vanished from human space in seconds. The journey across 40,000 light years took 11 minutes. On the Valoran homeworld, alarms began screaming. Officers ran through the command center shouting warnings. Admiral Crix rushed to the main display and froze. His black eyes went wide with terror. "That is impossible," he whispered. The display showed 200 human warships appearing from nowhere in orbit or on Valoran Prime. They had crossed the entire galaxy in minutes. There was no warning. There was no time to prepare. The Imperial fleet simply appeared like ghosts from the void. Admiral Cross looked at the Valoran homeworld through her observation window. The planet was beautiful, covered in purple forests and silver oceans. Cities sparkled on the surface. Defense platforms orbited the planet, but they were still powering up. The Valorans had been caught completely off guard. "Open a channel to their command center," Admiral Cross ordered. The holographic display flickered. Admiral Crix appeared, his gray face pale with shock. Behind him, his officers scrambled in panic. "This is Fleet Admiral Helena Cross of the Terran Imperial Navy," she said calmly. "You have our people. You thought distance kept you safe. You thought we could not reach you. You were wrong." Admiral Crix struggled to speak. "How did you do this? This technology is impossible. No species can travel such distances so quickly." "Humanity does not believe in impossible," Admiral Cross replied. "We believe in challenges. Every obstacle makes us stronger. Every enemy makes us smarter. You pushed us, and we pushed back harder." She leaned forward slightly. "You have 1 hour to return every human prisoner unharmed. If even one person is missing or injured, we will demonstrate what our weapons can do to your homeworld. This is not a negotiation. This is your only chance." The channel closed. Admiral Crix collapsed into his chair. His hands were shaking. Minister Thova ran to his side, her eyes wide with fear. "How did we not know about this?" she demanded. "Our spies reported their technology was primitive." "They fooled us," Admiral Crix said slowly. "They let us see only what they wanted us to see. All these years, they were building in secret, planning, waiting for us to give them a reason." General Zoran stepped forward. "We cannot surrender to primitives. We are the Valoran Empire. We have conquered hundreds of worlds. We should fight." Admiral Crix looked at the display showing the human fleet. Each ship was heavily armed. Their weapons hummed with energy. Scans showed power readings that made no sense. These vessels could level continents. "Look at their weapons, General. Look at their shields. They crossed 40,000 light years in minutes. What else can they do that we do not understand?" The general had no answer. In orbit, Admiral Cross watched the clock. Her officers maintained their positions with perfect discipline. The fleet held formation, weapons powered but not firing. Humanity had learned patience. They had also learned that mercy after victory created fewer future enemies than total destruction. 40 minutes passed. The communications officer spoke up. "Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the surface. The Valorans are requesting transport coordinates. They say the prisoners are being gathered." Admiral Cross allowed herself a small smile. "Tell them our shuttles will collect the prisoners directly. We will not give them coordinates to anything." 20 shuttles launched from the carrier ships. They descended through the atmosphere under heavy escort. The Valorans made no move to attack. They simply watched as humanity took back what belonged to them. On the surface, the prisoners were gathered in a large plaza. They looked thin and tired. Many had bruises and cuts from their time in the mines, but they were alive. When they saw the human shuttles landing, many of them began to cry. Soldiers in black armor stepped out and formed a protective perimeter. A young woman named Sarah Chun pushed through the crowd. She had been a teacher on the colony world before the raid. She had spent 3 months in the mines, breaking rocks for 12 hours a day. Now she stared at the human soldiers like they were angels. "You came for us," she whispered. "You actually came for us." A soldier removed his helmet. He was young, with kind eyes. "Of course we came. We never leave our people behind. Not ever." The evacuation took 2 hours. Every prisoner was loaded onto shuttles and brought up to the fleet. Medical teams were waiting. Food and clean water were available. The former prisoners were treated with care and dignity. Admiral Cross received the final report. All 4,000 humans were accounted for. 73 had died in the mines before the rescue. Their bodies were recovered as well. Humanity would give them proper burials at home. She opened a channel to the Valoran Command Center one final time. Admiral Crix appeared on screen. He looked older somehow, defeated. "Your people are safe," he said quietly. "We have complied with your demands." Admiral Cross nodded. "You have. And because you made the wise choice, your world remains intact. But understand this clearly, Admiral. This changes everything. The galaxy believed humanity was weak and isolated. They were wrong. We can reach anywhere. We can strike anyone. The species that choose peace with us will prosper. The species that choose war will face the same fate you nearly faced today." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We do not seek to conquer. We seek to protect our people and our allies. Remember this day. Tell the other empires what happened here. Tell them that humanity remembers those who help us, and we never forget those who hurt us." The channel closed. The fleet turned away from Valoran Prime. The gate opened once more, the tunnel of light stretching across the galaxy. 200 ships vanished as quickly as they had appeared. On the homeworld, Admiral Crix sat in silence for a long time. The other council members gathered around him, waiting for orders. "Send messages to every empire in the known galaxy," he finally said. "Tell them what we witnessed today. Tell them that the humans are not what we thought. Tell them that distance no longer protects anyone from Earth." Minister Thova frowned. "What do we do now? They could return at any time. They could destroy us whenever they wish." Admiral Crix stood slowly. He walked to the window and looked up at the stars. "We do the only thing we can do. We change our ways. No more slave raids. No more attacks on weaker species. The humans showed us mercy today. They could have burned our cities. They could have ended our civilization. Instead, they took their people and left." He turned back to face the council. "They are not conquerors. They are protectors. And that makes them far more dangerous than any empire we have faced before. A conqueror can be defeated in battle. A protector fights until their last breath for what matters to them. We saw their fleet. Imagine what they could build if they truly prepared for war." The council remained silent. "The age of easy conquest is over," Admiral Crix continued. "A new power has risen in the galaxy. They were quiet for so long that we forgot about them. We underestimated them. We will not make that mistake again." Far across the galaxy, the human fleet returned home. The former prisoners were reunited with their families. Admiral Cross received a hero's welcome, but she did not celebrate. She knew this was only the beginning. Word would spread. Other empires would hear what happened. Some would fear humanity. Others would seek alliance. And some would want to test themselves against this new power. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage. There was no going back now. They had shown the universe what they could do. They had proven that courage and innovation could overcome any distance. They had demonstrated that humanity protected its own, no matter the cost. The stars were no longer boundaries. They were pathways, and humanity was ready to walk them all.